Imagine that we have a brain-computer interface device that hooks right into your brain and then it connects to an app on your phone.
It could destroy human society as we know it if you don't get it right.
It was striking how easy it was to actually make people do things that the robot asked.
You don't want machines that take over decisions or even influence the development of our society.
So to me, what body augmentation means is how can you use data and algorithms to help make your life better?
Improvement of medicine could be by invention of new devices, computers, artificial intelligence.
Human augmentation right now is already occurring. I use computers to augment my ability all the time. It's not embedded in my brain, but there are going to be forces that try to link up the hardware with our own human bodies.
A lot of the brain augmentation stuff that we're going to see is going to be in the medicine field, because there are a lot of people out there who aren't necessarily served by the current medical situation, usually people who are in wheelchairs and are paraplegic, where I think brain and body augmentation has the greatest capacity to be helpful is in helping these people to be able to participate in society in ways that maybe they might not have been able to before.
We will hopefully get rid of many diseases. I can use smart technologies, machine learning, artificial intelligence to detect diseases much earlier, and will live longer, be more healthy.
For example, in Australia, Cochlear invented a thing to help deaf people hear, an amazing thing if you're deaf. But what happens when suddenly people who have a cochlear implant hear better than normal people? And suddenly you're better off with the cure than not having what we would say is a disability or something. There are forces that are going to come together in ways that I can only guess is going to cause many, many people to want to have that technology as part of them.
We've seen controversy over things like CRISPR, which is a gene editing technology. So essentially you could eliminate hereditary genetic disorders or diseases. It leaves the door open to other possible uses of that. Designer children would be one example, or trying to make yourself more intelligent. And, that kind of raises all sorts of ethical and existential questions.
So one of the big problems, of course, is this technology is expensive, and so the people are going to be able to augment themselves are the people who can afford to augment themselves. So that's a whole new way to have society create divisions. We're entering a new time where we're able to use data, machine learning, but even probably robots are going to come together, and they're going to do a lot more than we've been used to.
With access to all this information and more human-like machines, humans and machines will integrate more and more, interact more and more.
We're really trying to make an image of ourselves, we're trying to recreate what it is to be human inside a machine. As soon as you have a social robot that has two eyes, a mouth, that kind of looks friendly, we cannot help but connect with that robot. So the experiment that we did here is actually really important. We know that social robots can induce compliance in people. It actually means that if the robot asks you things that you wouldn't normally do, the robot can convince you to still take action. What we found was that people complied with requests made by the robot, but it was striking how easy it was to actually make people do things that the robot asked.
We've seen people telling their life stories about what they ate for dinner last night, and it's just a computer right now. It's us controlling it.
It took us no effort at all to open doors through the robot. It was incredibly easy to extract personal information from people. People trust the robot, and that was very unexpected.
Kind of frightening to me as well what will happen in the future when we have these things driving around autonomously.
We're having these digital assistants right now. These are going to become robots soon, and as soon as that happens, children will have interactions with these robots in the family home. What if a robot would start pushing products or toys onto children? Can we allow that?
I do worry that humans are easily manipulated with data, and I think we're going to have a complete rethink about privacy, but also ownership of data.
Those who program the robot, those are the ones who control what the robot learns and what its values are, and that can lead to bad or good things depending basically on the human person. So actually there's always some human factor present. It's not just a robot.
If that robot would be part of your household, if it's kind of living with you in the house, are you going to share your most intimate moments with the robot? Or would you like some kind of way of shutting down the robot? Perhaps, I don't know, pulling a veil over its cameras or something to make sure that it's not filming you. I think we should be using these kind of strategies to make sure that not only the robot, but the corporations and people behind the robot are not using the data that it picks up.
You don't want machines that sort of take over decisions or even influence the development of our society. Most people, I would think, would still want to keep those decisions within humans, even if a machine maybe can be perceived as more rational.
I think that we can avoid a lot of pain and suffering in terms of maybe becoming redundant as a species by making sure that we are always part of the development loop. That way we will grow with machines instead of machines and humans turning into sort of an adversarial relationship.
Augmentation is how I always say, you know, the future of work. Machines are going to replace us. No, we're going to use machines to make us superhuman compared to the way we are. That is how augmentation works. But when it becomes part of who I am all the time, then that is a big leap forward. And the ethical implications there are profound, I would say. It could, you know, destroy human society as we know it if you don't get it right.
Imagine that we have a brain-computer interface device that hooks right into your brain and then it connects to an app on your phone. That sounds great. Everybody in Silicon Valley is very excited about this. However, the only way that we have right now to do this is through Bluetooth, which is, we know to be extremely vulnerable to things. So I can imagine a scenario in which somebody is able to access your device through the Bluetooth on your phone and is able to induce a seizure in you. That's an extremely scary scenario that we need to be prepared for.
It may well be that there are certain parts of augmentation we decide, well, that might be good for the individual. It's so bad for society, we're just not going to go there.
Perhaps we're pushing too hard, we're trying too hard. Building artificial intelligence, building these social robots teaches us so much about ourselves. I think it's worth doing.